Okay, let's get right into it. There is absolutely nothing more frustrating than being sidelined by knee pain that just won't quit. You feel like you're doing everything you're supposed to, but every single time you push it, that pain comes roaring right back. So, in this explainer, we're going to get to the bottom of that frustration and figure out what is actually happening inside your knee. So, does this sound familiar? I'm talking about that really sharp, super specific pain just a little bit below your kneecap. It's not some vague all over ache, right? It's a pinpoint spot that just lights up whenever you run, jump, or even just kneel down. If you're nodding your head right now, then you are in exactly the right place. And I'm willing to bet that if I asked you to point to the pain with just one finger, it'd land right here, on that bony little bump at the very top of your shin bone. We call this spot the tibial tubercle. And if this is where your pain lives, then yep, we are definitely on the right track, because that specific spot is the classic calling card for what we're about to break down. So what's the deal with that one little spot? Why there? Well, to really understand the pain, we first have to understand the machinery behind it. So let's take a look at the anatomy of your knee's weak link, especially during these crucial growth years. Every single time you straighten your knee, to kick a ball, to jump, whatever, you're using this incredible power chain called the extensor mechanism. It's really made up of four key parts working together. You've got your massive quad muscles, your kneecap, or patella, which works kind of like a pulley. Then you have the super strong patellar tendon, and finally, that tibial tubercle, the anchor point we've been talking about. Let's zero in on that anchor point. I want you to think of your patellar tendon like a big, powerful rope. Your quad muscles pull on that rope to straighten your leg. And the tibial tubercle, well, that's the spot where the rope securely ties off to your shin bone. Now, in a fully grown adult, that connection is rock solid. But for a growing athlete like you, it's a completely different story. See, in an adult, that tibial tubercle is like cured concrete. It's strong, it's stable, it's not going anywhere. But in a growing athlete, in you, right now, it's something called an apophysis. And all that means is it's a growth center that's still made of softer cartilage. It's in the process of becoming hard bone. So the best way to think about it is like wet concrete. It's still setting, and because of that, it's pretty vulnerable. And that right there is the entire problem. You've got this incredibly strong tendon, that rope, yanking over and over and over again on an anchor point that's basically still soft, that's still developing. It's a structural mismatch. That constant pulling on wet concrete is what we call Osgood Schlatter disease. It's really just an irritation injury at a growth center. So this brings us to the big question, the one every athlete asks. So when is this going to end? And the answer isn't a date on the calendar. It's actually a biological race against the clock, and your own body is the one that sets the finish line. The pain stops when that wet concrete finally cures. Medically, we call this apophilial closure. It's just the moment when that cartilage growth plate finally hardens up and fuses into solid bone. Once that happens, guess what? The weak link is gone. Now, this usually happens for girls between 14 and 16, and for boys a little later between 16 and 18. But here's the key. Your actual skeletal maturity is what matters, not just your birthday. Now, this might sound a little technical, but in the clinic, we actually have ways to track this. One of the markers we can look at is something called the Risser stage, which is a way to measure how mature your skeleton is by looking at the growth plate in your hip. And for most athletes, that risk for Osgood Schlatter really closes down right around Risser stage 4. That's the real finish line we're working toward. So I really want you to let this sink in. Your physical therapy isn't some magic cure for Osgood Schlatter. It's a strategy. Our job, together, is to manage the load on that sensitive spot while building up strength everywhere else. We're keeping you as strong and active as we can until your own body's natural growth process wins this race for us and closes the gate on this condition for good. Okay, so that's the science. Now, let's turn all this knowledge into your daily game plan. Because understanding the what and the why is what's going to empower you to really take control of your recovery, day in and day out. Here are 3 super simple things you can start doing like today. Number 1, be precise. Always use just one finger to find your pain. If you notice it starts to spread out or move to a different spot, that's new information and you got to tell your care team. 2, track your height. A sudden growth spurt is a big deal because it means your bones are growing fast and that can really increase the stress on that anchor point. And 3, follow the plan. I promise, every single exercise you're given is designed specifically to strengthen the whole chain without overloading that one vulnerable spot. Think of this as your daily playbook. On the do this list, keep a log of your pain levels with specific activities, check your height once a month, and keep the lines of communication wide open with your coach and your physical therapist. Now, on the avoid this list, do not, I repeat, do not push through sharp pain. Don't freak out about the bony bump. It's normal. And don't just assume that getting stronger is the only answer. This is about smart management, not just brute force. All right, let's bust a few common myths, because honestly, they cause a lot of unnecessary stress. First off, you don't really have a tendon injury. The tendon itself is usually perfectly fine. The issue is at the junction where it connects to the growth plate. Second, that bump does not mean your knee is broken. It's just a sign that your body's adapting to the stress. And finally, this isn't just about strengthening your quads. In fact, a lot of the time, working on flexibility is even more important. Okay, let's bring it all home now with the final takeaways. This last part is all about locking in the most critical points, and, just as important, making sure you know exactly when you need to reach out for help. Now, this is super important. These are your red flags. Your job is to manage your symptoms day to day, but if you experience any of these, you need to let your doctor or physical therapist know right away. We're talking about pain that moves away from that one spot, pain that bothers you when you're just resting or wakes you up at night, any kind of locking, catching, or giving way, or if you see significant swelling in the whole knee joint, any of those, and you make the call. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, please make it this. Osgood Schlatter is a temporary problem. It is. It's just a mismatch between the load from your sport and what your body's structure can handle right now. Your job isn't to be a hero and fight through the pain. Your job is to be a smart, strategic manager of that load. You play the long game, you let your body do its thing, and you'll come back even stronger when your own growth finally wins the race. You've got this.